How many have we completed? 3. Okay. Fourth now. 6 vectors A to F have magnitudes and directions as indicated in the figure. So 6 vectors are given. Hopefully you can see all the 6. Right? Which of the following statements is true? Now, first of all, let's make a little correction to the options. All of them are vectors in the option. So B vector plus E vector equal to F vector, like that. Change it everywhere. Come on. Let's start now. So we have to decide which is the right. Very simple question. Take each option at a time and try to check whether that relation is correct or not. So for example, the first one, excuse me, the first one is B vector plus E vector equal to F vector. So do you see B vector? Yes. Do you see E vector? Yes. Pick them up and try to add them. So graphical method only, triangle. You can use parallelogram also, but I am going to use triangle. So B vector is like this, yes or no? No? No. B are here. B down. What did I see? Alright, fine. Well then, so B vector is like this and E vector is like this, correct or not? Yes. So if we add them by triangle method, because I have joined the head of, the tail of the first with the second with the head of the first. I'm also there. Is this clear? Yes. Is this vector looking like F vector? No. Yes or no? No. Understood how to check? Yes. The first is wrong. Alright? Try the second, third and fourth on your own. Hurry up, you have 1 minute and more. Done? Yes. Which option? B. Okay, getting different answers, so you have to check that. Who's getting B? Second one. Second option. Who's getting B? Who's getting C? And D? Okay. Is there a fifth option? No. Anyone get C? C and D options are same. C. Okay. I think we should provide you with a microscope. Okay. So B vector plus C vector is F vector. No. Wrong. D vector plus C vector is equal to F vector. Wrong. And D vector plus E vector. This way, that way. Yeah, correct. D is the right answer. Is it clear? Yes. Okay. Fine. Now, let's go to the fifth one. Everyone, are you clear about it? Or should I do it on the board? Anyone want me to do it on the board? The fourth question. Why not C? Let's see. So, first of all, D vector, I am drawing it this way. Then, vector C, drawn from the head of the first one. So, we can use triangle now. Is this clear? Now, addition of these two will look like this. Does F vector look like that? And outside F vector, isn't F vector pointing towards this side? So this cannot be F vector. Correct or not? Right. Next one. Two vectors A vector and B vector lie in a plane. Another vector C lies outside this plane. Then the resultant of A vector plus B vector plus C vector, that is addition of all, can be 0, cannot be 0, lies in the plane containing A vector and B vector, lies in the plane containing B vector and C vector. 4 options are given. Basically, let's take an example. That makes it easy. What is the question saying? A vector and B vector are in one plane. Let's say the board is that plane. For example, A vector is on x-axis. A vector is on x-axis. Alright? Clear? Yes. So you could imagine that A vector So you could imagine that A vector is towards the right hand side. Okay? And B vector is, let's say, upwards. Clear or not? Okay? Then where will be their resultant? Pehla A, B khali karo, C chhodi do. Just focus on A vector and B vector. Where will be their resultant? I have joined them by their tail. So which law should I use to find resultant? Parallelogram. Is that clear or not? Yes. Don't forget the basic. If tails are joined, you have to add by parallelogram law. So if you do that, we get it here. Clear or not? Yes. Sure. So this is A vector plus B vector. You could call it anything. Like let's call this R vector phi. Then now we have to find A vector plus B vector plus C vector. Correct or not? Yes. We have to find about this. That's the question. So what is this? R vector. So basically I have to find about R vector plus C vector. Now read something about C vector. Something is given. Read it. I'm turning on the fan. It's really almost impossible to stand over here. Okay. Yeah. So, where is C vector? Outside the plane. Yes or no? So it will not be drawn on this board anywhere because board is this plane of A vector and B vector. So where will be C vector? Maybe like this. Suppose towards Z axis. Outside the plane guy. I hope you get that. Yes. I cannot draw this vector on the board. However hard I try. Clear or not? Yes. So this is outside. Now what are the options like? Let's go through the options. First one. Can be 0. Now addition of two vectors will be 0. In which case? Both are opposite. Yes or no? Yes. You realize that, for example, 5i caret and minus 5i caret. Addition is 0 because the directions are opposite and magnitudes are same. Clear or not clear? Yes. Sure? Yes. Concept is there in the mind ma? 5i caret minus 5i caret. Total is 0 because they are same magnitude but in opposite directions. So R vector is in this direction. Alright, and where is C vector? Is in this direction. Are these in opposite directions? Are these in opposite direction? एक वेक्टर आम से एक आम से opposite क्या है? Opposite कौन है क्या? Exactly going opposite ways. आम होए तो opposite way. Did you get there? Yes. And different क्या? They are in different directions. Concept fully knows that there are three types. Four vectors in same direction. Ini શું કહેવાય? Vectors in opposite direction. And हम side में तो so we want the vectors to be anti-parallel. So if this is R vector and this is C vector like this, they are definitely not in opposite direction. So will the total be 0? No. Yes. No. The total cannot be 0. Did you get that? Yes. Sure. Yes. Another way to understand is, and we have talked about this earlier, if three vectors have to give resultant 0, then the third vector should be like this. Do you remember that? A vector plus B vector plus C vector will give resultant 0 if they make a triangle like this.
Yes.
Do you remember that or not?
Yes.
Okay, this is a triangle. Now this is only possible if all the three are in the same plane. Obviously, a triangle can only be drawn in one plane or same plane. Clear or not?
Yes.
So the answer is it cannot be 0 if C is in a different plane, like it's given in the question. Understood? So which option?
E.
Cannot be 0. Okay, next question. The resultant of A vector and B vector makes an angle A with A vector and B with B vector. Draw what is given. After reading the question, you should be able to draw it. Main solution or drawing there. Diagram is not raw code. Let me tell you that. Diagram is the main thing. Draw the diagram, everyone.
Yes.
Mentions two vectors A and B and their resultant. And it's talking about the angle between what? A vector and B vector. A vector and R vector. How much is that angle? A. And how much is the other one? B. Divide with the balloon. So, axis property. Let's say that this is A vector and here is B vector. Right? Why am I joining them by their tail? The reason is whenever we have talked about finding angle between resultant, means R vector and A vector, we were doing it by parallelogram method. Hopefully you remember that derivative of tan alpha. Okay, so we get a parallelogram like this. A parallelogram batayo. And here is R vector. Did you get that?
Yes.
Okay. Where is A? Between A vector and
R.
So here also there. Where is B? Between R vector and B vector. Okay. Now read that question again and see what are the options. Okay, question માં તો બીજી કઈ information નથી. We just have to decide which is the right option by going through the options one by one. Done? Got no idea? Have you understood the options? Yes or no? What's the first option? A is less than B. If nothing is given. So it says that A is less than B, means it's saying that angle A is smaller than angle B. Always. You don't have to check for anything. દર વખતે એવું જ આવે એવું કે. Do you think it's right? Don't you think it would depend on what two vectors you are adding? Correct or not? Directions તો બે vector પર depend કરશે ને. So what about second one? A is less than B if capital A is less than B. So let's try to do it that way. અહીંયા તમે આમ approximately rhombus જેવું draw કરો. But think about it. Suppose B is longer. Suppose B is longer. Means we are talking about this thing. Did you understand? We are talking about which case A is less than B. Means capital B is more than capital A. So our vector आप नाम तो दस. Yes or no?
Yes.
So what do you think happens to R as this vector becomes longer and longer? Will R go towards A or towards B? Will R go towards A or towards B? Draw કરીને જો ને એકવાર આ draw કર્યું ને તમે. Now draw B very long. Do it once. તમે કરશો તો જ તમને કઈ મગજમાં બેસે. Draw B very long but don't draw A that long. Okay? Draw A short and B very long. What would happen? What would happen to R vector? Would it start turning towards A or towards B? Done. Towards B. Towards B. Who gets it towards B? Let's check that. Suppose A is this small and B is very long. Parallelogram દેખાય છે? Okay. Now, where is R vector? From here to here. Clear or not?
Yes.
Do you see what happens here is this angle will become bigger and this angle will become smaller. Agreed?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Sure. So as A becomes less than B, then what will happen is small a, small b. Small b will be
Less
less than
than
A. Is that clear or not clear?
Yes.
That is basically this R vector is turning towards B vector. Got it or not?
Yes.
Okay. Right. So if A is less than B, then B will be less than A in angle. Is that the option? Yes or no? Is that the option? No or yes?
No.
Okay. B is not the answer. Fine. Then what's the answer?
C.
C is the answer.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Make sure you read it correct. A will be less than B if capital A is greater than B. Yes, correct. સમજાઈ તો છે ને
Yes.
કે આ નંબર વગરના મેથ્સમાં તમે બહુ હેરાન થાઓ છો. What's going on? If A is very long and B is not that long, so what does that say? Do you realize that this resultant will be much more closer to A? Right? So angle A will be small and angle B will be more. Make sense or not?
Yes.
I hope you get that. કારણ કે જેમ આને આમ લાંબુ કરતા જશો એટલે આમ નીચે આવતું જશે. Yes or no? I hope you can imagine.
Yes.
What is the book? Can you imagine?
Yes.
Right? Okay. So answer will be
C.
Okay. Question 7. What is the angle between A vector and resultant of A vector plus B vector and A vector minus B vector? पहला तो ये change करना को, right? Make it A vector plus B hat है. चलो वांधो नहीं तो hat रखो. A vector plus B hat रखो. A vector plus B hat and A vector minus B hat. Okay. So what's the question here? We have to find what we have to find.
Angle between
Angle between a vector and resultant of a vector plus b vector, and I mean we had an a vector minus b. ત્રણ વેક્ટર છે ને, તો ત્રણ વેક્ટર વચ્ચે થોડો એંગલ ફાઇન્ડ. Angle can only be found between two vectors. Correct or not? Yes or no? સમજાય છે? બે લાઈન વચ્ચે એંગલ ફાઇન્ડ કરતા આવડે, ત્રણ લાઈન વચ્ચે એંગલ કેવી રીતે ફાઇન્ડ થાય? Undefined, right? You can only find angle between two lines or two vectors. પણ અહીંયા તો ત્રણ આપ્યા છે. ત્રણ નથી આપ્યા. Which are the two vectors for which we have to find angle? You have to find angle between. Raise your hand. Let's see. Which are the two vectors between which you have to find the angle? ત્રણ તો નો જ હોય, એટલું તો સમજાવો ને. You cannot find angle between three vectors. Which are the two vectors between which you have to find out the angle? Yes. Sorry? Between R vector and D vector. But what is meaning of R vector and what is meaning of D vector? Clarify that please. We are saying we have to find angle between R vector and D vector. So what's R vector? A vector plus B hat. B vector. That's another hat I will. A vector plus B hat and A vector minus B hat. So we are saying we have to find angle between these two. Nice. Kev? Not the super easy. So we can knock it. What information did you see? Okay, no problem. Sit down. Pragati. No, don't answer that. What to find angle between? पहला क्वेश्चन तो समझो पर्सन सॉल्व करता पहला बराबर के नहीं. Which two vectors do we have to find angle between? अरे नो समझे तो करવાનો. एक જ લાઈન નો ક્વેશ્ચન છે. વાંચો 10 વાર. ધીમે ધીમે વાંચો, એક એક વર્ડ પકડીને. એ તમે નથી કરતા. A vector and R vector. Very good. We have to find angle between A vector and R vector. But I want further clarification. Pragati, what is this R vector which you are talking about? Okay, આટલું કોને સમજાઈ ગયું છે? We have to find angle between this and this. એવું ક્યાં લખ્યું છે? Find angle between A vector and resultant. એટલું લખ્યું છે, and resultant of something. Okay, put your hand down. Now what is this R vector? Can you tell me? R vector equal to resultant always means what? Addition. Correct or not? So addition તો કોઈ વેક્ટર નું કરવાનું હોય ને તો જ addition કહેવાય ને. So this is addition of which vectors? This R vector is addition of which vector? Reason and આવે છે ને. એ રીતે તો બધાને પછી એક જ પેપર આપતો ને એક જ આન્સર છે. કરો ઠીક. Yes, Sabha.
A vector plus B hat and A vector.
You tell me what I should write here. And when kind, no English, only maths.
In bracket. A vector plus B hat plus in bracket A vector minus B.
This is what is our vector.
Yes.
Who says this is what is our vector? Alright. Sit down, both of you. Well tried, well done. In fact, your answers are correct. Right. Ache. How do we know it's this? Read that part carefully. Resultant से आगे वाँचो धीमे धीमे. Resultant of what? Of A vector plus B vector and
A vector.
OMK. What is sum of? 3 and 5. So તમે શું આન્સર આપશો? 8. Sum of 3 and 5 is 8. 8. કેવી રીતે 3 plus 5 કેવી રીતે? તો એવી રીતે sum of a vector plus b hat and a vector minus b hat આ કેવી રીતે લખાય? Yes or no? And
yes.
sum means what?
Addition.
Addition. That is result. Clear or not clear?
Yes.
Everyone? Yes, no?
Yes.
આટલો તો હજી question જ થઈ જશે. હમણાં solution પૂરો થઈ જશે. This is r vector. So now we have to find angle between a vector and r vector, and this is r vector. Can you simplify this? આજે આવું mathematical expression લખ્યું છે. Can you simplify it? એટલું બધું અઘરું છે simplify કરવું છે. Can you simplify it?
Yes.
What? This will be a vector plus anything cancelled. Are you so good? Anything cancelled or not cancelled? Yes, d hat will get cancelled. A bracket like कामना नहीं है मत bracket. Is that clear or not?
Yes.
So d hat is getting cancelled. So it is a vector plus a vector. 2a vector. Yes or no?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
હવે આમાં ના ન પાડતા ધ્યાન સમજાતો a vector plus a vector is 2a vector. Okay, so we have to find angle between which two vectors?
A vector
A vector and r vector, but r vector is ultimately how much? 2a vector. So find angle between this and this. Wait. આવું કઈ જોયું છે પહેલા? આવું 2 into a vector એટલે શું કહેવાય?
A vector
A vector.
Multiplication of a scalar with a vector. હા એમાં કઈ હતું? હા 0 degree. Yes or no?
Yes.
Either. This is 2a vector. A vector અને પછી 2a vector કેવી રીતે draw કરાય? This is a vector. How will you draw 2a vector? Double the length and in same direction. Yes or no?
Yes.
So what is the angle between these two vectors?
0 degree.
Understood or not?
Yes.
Solution કેટલું નાનું છે? હતું કઈ solution માં કઈ નતું. આ આટલું આવડી જાય તો પછી એડ કરી દીધું 2a vector. 2a vector and a vector are obviously in the same direction. You લખાયું છે. You remember that? If a vector equal to k into a vector, and if k is greater than 0, then both vectors are in same direction. Angle between them will be 0 degree. Understood?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Any queries? Okay. Let's go to the next one. A. Try to draw diagram for what it is saying. Draw the diagram. Photo પડે તો કઈ વાંધો નહીં. Rough નથી, જે છે અહીંયા draw કરો. Each solution છે. So what's given? First of all, you have A vector and B vector, and their resultant is R1. એવું છે ને? Their resultant is R1. Okay, so that you can either draw by parallelogram method or by triangle method, whichever way you like. Okay. Remember, drawing, while it's very useful, but different ways of drawing always give you the same result at the end. It's not too much of a concern how you draw it. Parallelogram, triangle, it's fine. So, what's given? Let's say there is A vector, and suppose there is B vector, and their resultant, suppose I am drawing triangle, is R1. Is it okay?
Yes.
What's the thing given next? Read it. Direction of B is reverse. Okay, so when you reverse direction of B, what does it become?
Minus.
When you reverse direction of B vector, what does that vector become? Minus B vector. Clear or not?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
You remember that idea?
Yes.
Or not? So let's draw it again. So let's say this is A vector still as it was. And now I'm going to reverse B vector. આ B vector આમ છે તો reverse કેવી રીતે draw કરાય? આમ draw કરો. How can no કરાય? Is this wrong B vector? I mean, is this wrong minus B vector?
Yes.
It's wrong. It's not wrong. But triangle law of addition no થાય પછી. એ no થાય. If you want to use parallelogram law, you will have to pick it up and draw it here. Did you understand?
Yes.
So, although this is a correct B vector minus B vector, but I will have to draw it from here. Did you understand that?
Yes.
So that now I can use the triangle law. Clear or not clear?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. So A vector and minus B vector. So now if you join them, you get R2 vector. Correct or not?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Clear?
Yes.
Do you understand what we are drawing?
Yes.
Okay. Now, so can you write this mathematically? R1 vector equal to A vector plus B vector. Okay. R2 vector equal to A vector plus minus B vector. Yes or no?
Yes.
But this is same as A vector minus B vector. Okay. Are you aware of this?
Yes.
આને શું કહેવાય? Difference. So what should I write?
D.
D. So actually what we are calling as R2 is nothing but D. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
What we are calling as R2 is nothing but D. The difference. Fine or not, everyone?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. What's the next thing to do now? Read the question again. Okay. Find કરવાનો છે ને આટલું તો question માં આપી દેવાનું છે.
Value of
We have to find value of R1 square plus R2 square. But R2 is same as D, isn't it?
Yes.
How find કરવાનું? So here you are adding two vectors, A vector and B vector, and you are finding R1 vector. Okay. A square છે can you square it? Is it square of vector R1?
No.
Nothing. It is the square of magnitude. Do you know how to find magnitude of R1 if you have this kind of relation between them? So raise your hand. For clues you can read the question again and again and again. બધું question માં જ હોય. કઈ બહારથી હું નથી લાવતો. All right. Billy. Louder. પહેલા તો આ વેક્ટર છે. R1. अच्छा तो Rx Ry को बोल दो. So Rx is A and Ry is B. એટલે તું એમ કે R1 સ્ક્વેર ની જગ્યાએ A સ્ક્વેર પ્લસ B સ્ક્વેર હતા. યોગ્ય ને? Yes, no. Is this same as this? આ બેમાં કઈ ફરક છે? છે જ ને? These are two separate vectors. So you were saying that Rx I cat plus Ry j cat. आपने the same करो थे. These are called component. Do you remember? And rectangular component. These are not rectangular component. Fine. એટલે આવી રીતે નહીં થાય. Got it? Another clue is in the question. Who has raised hand? Please do it again. I am asking you how to find R1. આ તો નહીં આવે ચલો. Alright, Himanshi. વચ્ચે કઈ આવે? Look, so she is saying that this R1 will be equal to under root A square plus B square plus 2A cos theta. How did you come to know that? I know she is thinking it's very easy. Question one like with it. Like with that. So like with it. Resultant like with that. Resultant. Yes or no? We want to find magnitude of the resultant. What is R1? Read the question. R1 is the resultant. Resultant of what? A vector and B vector. And this is its magnitude. Correct or not? So how do we find magnitude of resultant?
A square plus
That formula. Isn't it under root A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. Fine?
Yes.
Everyone got that?
Yes.
So here to look. A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. Why do I not need to write square root? Because it is already square. Is it fine?
Yes.
Everyone gets there?
Yes.
Sit down. Welcome. Okay. Next. હવે શું બાકી? D. હવે તો તરત ત્યાં થઈ ગયું હશે કે શું કરવાનું બરાબર ને તો કરવા પણ જતું. So the answer is
C.
C. क्या तो देने magnitude of difference. मिली क्या?
Yes.
જેવી એક્ઝામ પૂરી થશે એટલે બીજા દિવસે हम પૂછી લો પાછું. Be ready. હજી ચેપ્ટર પૂરો નથી થયો વેક્ટર્સનો ઘણું બધું લખવું પડશે. So d square will be a square plus b square minus 2ab cos theta. Clear?
Yes.
So answer is 2 times
A square plus B square.
Did you get that?
Yes.
Once again, a classic example of what I've been telling you. Understanding the question is the main thing. આટલી બધી મહેનત કરો ત્યારે ક્વેશ્ચન સમજાય છે. સોલ્યુશન જોવો તમે. એ રીતે કેવું put formula cancel for the answer. એવું છે ને? નહીં. So investing time in understanding question is not wasted time. આ સમજી લો તમે. You should not read question 1 or 2 times only. No આવડી નથી વાંચ જ કરવાનો question. So you will be able to find out these clues. જેમ કે immediately તમને no realize થાય કે આ ફોર્મ્યુલા યુઝ કરવાની ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ. ક્વેશ્ચન માં બે ત્રણ વાર લખ્યું છે resultant. Yes or no?
Yes.
Resultant is R1 પછી એવું બધું લખ્યું. Correct? So that way you will be able to connect it. That okay, this is resultant, so we might have to use magnitude of resultant. Right? Okay. Let's go to the next one. Number 9. Okay. So what's given? Magnitude of 3 vectors are given. 12, 5 and 13. 13 here. 1, 3. And it is given that A vector plus B vector equal to C vector. Now see. 12, 5 and 13 is a Pythagorean triplet. Yes or no?
Yes.
You all remember that?
Yes.
Sure. 12 square plus 5 square gives 13 square. Yes or no?
Yes.
Fine. So definitely we are going to get a right angle triangle. And it is given that A vector plus B vector is equal to C vector. So બનાવો એવું triangle. Following triangle law of addition, and it should be a right angle triangle. Try it. Put A, B, C at proper places. Put ABC at proper place. in the options we are seeing P written. Do you see that P?
Yes.
P no the pi है. Okay, make it pi. Angles are measured in radian. याद है pi and pi by 2 ने बुझा. Okay. Pi by 4. Right. तो आप ये दस हैं. So, did you draw the triangle?
Yes.
Now, what angle do we have to find? Angle between
A vector and
A vector and
B vector.
B vector. Okay. So, are you sure that it is 90 degree? Some of you are saying pi by 2. Okay. So, we are given in this question number 9. That A vector plus B vector is C vector. Yes or no?
Yes.
What are the magnitudes of A, B and C?
12, 5,
12, 5 and 30. Alright?
Yes.
Okay. So let's draw it. Let's say this is A vector which is 12. B vector is 5. So it will be shorter. Correct or not?
Yes.
And if I want to add them, and let's say I want to add by triangle law. Then where should I start B from? Head of A. Right?
Yes.
So if this is 12 and this is 5, only then we get a right angle triangle. Correct or not?
Yes.
Like this. So this is C vector from tail of first to the head of second. Clear?
Yes.
Sure?
Yes.
So now this is going to be 30. So everything matches. Yes or no?
Yes.
So the question is what's the angle between
A
A
vector
vector
and
and
B
B
vector.
vector? The angle is definitely
90
degree. But that's not in the option. So you have to convert to radius. Do you remember conversion?
Yes.
Who remembers that? Raise your hand. How to convert degree to radius? How to convert degree to radius? And basic scale say you cannot afford to forget it, everyone. Don't take anything lightly. Yes, Dia? 180 degree is equal to pi radian. Okay. Okay, 1 degree equal to, yeah, that's right. 1 degree equal to pi upon 180 radian. Okay, then how to convert 90 degree to radian? Let her speak. It will be pi by 2. Pi, so because 1 degree is this, so 90 degree is 90 into pi by 180. Correct or not?
Yes.
That will obviously give you pi by 2 degree. Got it?
Yes.
For simple cross multiplication, after having done it thousands of times, is this. Clear or not? How do you how karta?
Yes.
180 degree is pi radian, 90 degree is
I
there is no shame in it, remember. Okay, formula को अगर ता logic थी करूँ वधारे था. Got it? Sit down there. Very well. Is it fine? So answer is pi by 2. Okay. Now question 14 is homework. Okay, question 14 is homework, and so is 15 because they are just diagram based. Diagram is given, you just have to decide which is the correct relation, just like it was in question 4. Do you remember question 4?
Yes.
Okay, those lots of vectors were given similarly over here, right? You can use triangle law or parallelogram law, whichever you like. Okay, fine. So now we will continue with it the next.